Hi there, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. I can't believe it's Friday already, but it is, so here we are. So the card I have to share with you today is one that, so our team has a colour challenge going at the moment, and the colours that the team have to use are Balmy Blue, Blushing Bride and Just Jade. So this is my piece for that challenge. I'm going to show you how I made it, but I'm going to use a slightly different colour scheme, and I'm actually going to use just two colours. So I'm going to use, and it's an interesting colour choice, Flirty, Flamingo and Rococo Rose, and I've just realised that I've forgotten to get something out that I will need, which is the Rococo Rose scalloped edge ribbon. So I have used the All Things Fabulous stamp set, which is a, well, they're calling it a two-step stamp set, but come on, there are 3 stamps for most of the flowers. But what I wanted to show you is that you can use, depending on the colours, you can use just one stamp set to get a really nice effect. Oh, sorry, one ink colour to get a really nice effect on the flowers. This is what I've done for this. So this is Blushing Bride, 3 different depths, and Balmy Blue, 3 different depths. Couldn't really bring myself to using Just Jade for flowers. So I have gone for Just Jade as the background, if you like. Oh, and I have fussy cut my sentiment. Not doing that this time, it's going to be slightly different, but only slightly different. So, the first thing I really want to show you, rather than starting with the stamping, is these are vellum, but they are Just Jade vellum. So I have shared this with you before, but I'm going to do it again, just in case you missed it. So I have got dark Flirty Flamingo, dark Rococo Rose, and light, excuse me, light Rococo Rose. So what I just want to do is scribble with the brush end flat on the back of some vellum. Now that's the dark Rococo Rose. That's quite pink. Just saying. Light Rococo Rose. I see Rococo Rose as being a dusky colour. That's Rococo Rose. But, you know, this is light Rococo Rose. And this is dark Flirty Flamingo, because I thought I'd look at Flirty Flamingo as well. I suppose I should bring over light Flirty Flamingo as well, just so that you can see that too. So this is light Flirty Flamingo, which actually would have been quite good for a dark petal pink. But anyway, so those need to dry, because vellum is a slick surface, but let me put that next to there. So this way round, I would say dark Flirty Flamingo is nearest to Rococo Rose. Is it dry? Pretty much. Turn it over, and actually the Rococo Roses, the Flirty Flamingo is still fine, but these suddenly become nearer to the correct colour. This one's very pale and this one's very pale, but this one actually does get that dusky look. So just to show that the colour can change quite dramatically. I'm doing a lot of coloured vellum at the moment. I've got another random piece sitting on my desk, which is dark Granny Apple Green and light Granny Apple Green. And I think in the middle there may be a colour as well, but I can't tell you. But yeah, so that's Granny Apple Green. So yes. Don't think we haven't got coloured vellum. We have. Now you can do that with Stampin' Right markers. It's not, I'm going to assume that's not vellum, not coloured. It's not as quick and easy. So this is Rococo Rose again. The problem that you get using Stampin' Right markers is they do take longer, and you can end up with it curling. They're also less, they're more likely to show stripes. So it really depends on what you're doing, but it is a good match, obviously. Anyhow, so I haven't used that. I have chosen to pick out the, ooh, I think it was Flirty Flamingo. No, it was the, yes, it was Dark Flirty Flamingo is the one that I've, no, that's Dark Flirty Flamingo. It was the two shades of Rococo Rose that I chose to pull out. So, yeah. So I've got Rococo Rose here, which now that you see it on white in a piece, actually is much nearer. Anyway, let me show you how I did the stamping first, because that's kind of the important bit. So I'm just going to show you how to do one of the flowers. I need a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to use the Rococo Rose for no good reason other than I'm going to use Rococo Rose. Now, I generally do say start from the dark and work light, because it's much easier when you're stamping a lighter colour to see a darker colour. If you're stamping a darker colour, it's not as easy to see through the stamp. So I hope that makes sense. Let me just make sure I get this orientated so that it's actually going to be in the right place. So Rococo Rose full strength. And by in the right place, because I'm starting small, I need to have enough space around the outside. So that's full strength Rococo Rose. I'm going to ink up again, stamp off once very quickly, and can you see that I can see through that? Can you see that I can see? I'm hoping you can see through that. And I'm just lining up the gaps. Now, when you start getting to the point where you have second and third generation ink, you do need to give it a chance to actually transfer across. And then the last one, I'm going to, ooh, apparently not stick to my block particularly well. Let me get that attached better. That's better. So ink up really well and then do a very quick 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't want to hold it there too long because you need as much ink on as possible without it being too much. Now what you are doing each time you do this, because you're adding to the darker shades, is you are intensifying the ink that you've already got down there, and that helps too. But there you are, we have our nice 3-colour flower. So that is how that is done with 1 colour. So you don't have to have 3 coloured inks to get to the same effect. And as I say, if I bring back in the original, these are all just the 3 colours. So it's all Just Jade, Balmy Blue and Blushing Bride. I had to say 3 colours I would not normally put together, but it kind of works. Okay, so I have already done lots of stamping and lots of die cutting, because this is stamping and die cut heavy. So I've got lots of die cuts to choose from, and these are my floral pieces. Floral, they're foliage. Liz, they're foliage, not flowers. So the first thing I am going to do is stick this onto my Rococo Rose piece. Now I keep getting comments from people that they're struggling with this. I'm going to touch wood hard. I, so far, other than having to wind it on every now and again, I've not had a problem with this. If you are one of my customers and are struggling, please let me know. And if you've got a problem with your seal, please let me know if you're one of my customers and you've ordered it through me. And I will see what I can do to assist. But as I say, I so far haven't had a problem. And this is my 3rd inner. So I've used the one that it came with, and this is my 2nd refill, if you like. This piece of paper card is slightly smaller than my, in inverted commas, standard. So I've got a slightly wider border than I would generally have. The measurements will be over on my website, and the link to that is below, so don't worry about that. Now, this is beautifully curly. This is not because of using the blends, this is because of the die cutting. So we do need to kind of encourage it to flatten out. It's going to be fine because we are going to put ribbon over the top of it. But in the first instance, I'm going to add glue dots to the back of this in the large squares in the centre. We are going to cover it, so it's fine. You know, we're not going to worry about adhesive showing through, and we are pretty much covering the whole of that area anyway, so even if it did show through, it's going to be the same everywhere. So this, I want to make sure it is straight. It's going to be slightly wide, I believe. The first one was, so I'm thinking this one will be as well. So what I want to do is be very cack-handed, because I want this to go straight across, but straight. So, okay, I can see the grid paper underneath. No, nearly straight. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll squish it a bit in that direction. So that's that stuck down for the moment, but I'm also going to stick down this bit here. I have got from our kits, this is where I say I have got, and I can't find it now. I put it out. The trouble is I set up this video before I did my coffee and card earlier in the week. Did my coffee and card, and of course now I can't find anything. And I had some tiny little glue dots from one of the kits. But they have definitely disappeared. I'm picking everything up that I can think of where they might be hidden, and they're not. Okay, well I'll use some... Oh, there they are. No, they're there. They're there. They're there. Teeny tiny ones. Teeny. So those are just some of the backings. So I am going to grab my Take Your Pick tool and take the tops off. Got a piece of fluff. Hopefully take the top off. Yes. And just come in underneath. Oh, no, not going to come in underneath. So pick up this teeny tiny glue dot. As I say, these are ones from one of our kits. Don't ask me which one, because I don't know. Right, I might learn from experience and come this side now and take that off, and then that I can slide underneath like that. Lift up, push down. It's just easier to slide it underneath rather than have a tiny glue dot at the end of a piercing tool. So underneath. If you don't have teeny tiny glue dots from a kit, you can just fold a glue dot in half or roll it into a little ball, something like that. Sorry, I had something deciding to take a meal off my leg. We've got invading ladybirds, so not British ladybirds, but the invading ones, and they bite. They're rotten. Just saying. Okay, so as I said, this piece comes off the side. That is easily dealt with just by trimming off. You do need to hold it flat if it is curling up, but just trim the excess off on both sides. Much better to do it when it's in situ so that you know how much to trim off. So that's that. Now I'm going to grab my ribbon, which is going to go across the middle. I'm going to keep going. We've just had a power cut. This is our third power cut of the week, so I am going to keep going. So I'm sorry if the lighting's just gone weird. There's not much I can do about it. With luck, the power will come back on as quickly as it went off. Otherwise, it'll be an hour, which is never ideal, but there we go. So let me just add that there. This is Seal Plus, and there. And it's one of the joys of living in the country, and particularly at the moment, because we've got quite high winds. The trees haven't been trimmed during the summer, which means that the trees are bouncing off the overhead cables, which is not ideal. However, I'm going to keep going. So, right, piece of Rococo Rose and my stamp. I have an embossing buddy, so I'm going to use it. Oh, of course I can't do heat embossing because we don't have power. Imagine I'm heat embossing. Fortunately, I did a Blue Peter and prepared one earlier. I must have known. Right, okay, so don't you love it? I'm just not going to give in to power cuts. It's just not going to happen. I'm going to take some dimensionals and just add some to the back, in from the edge, but to the back of my flower. This is going to be the first one that I pop down, and then I'm going to build from there. So this is going to go just here, a little bit further over, so just there. Then this one, which is a Flirty Flamingo one, I'm going to, actually no, I'm going to stick that down flat. No, I will use glue. I like my liquid glue. So just add that. One of the things I'm particularly unimpressed by with the power cuts is we have my father coming to stay with us later today, as you're seeing this. He's 89 years old, and I could really do without him having to put up with power cuts. But you know, that's just life. Right, so I'm going to put a Rococo Rose flower up here, flat, and then I'm going to, I do want it in, there we go, and then I'm going to fill in with, I don't need that at the moment, fill in with, let's see, I'm going to go Flirty Flamingo there and Rococo Rose there. So, one of each. So we'll have this one just here, and this one just here. Then the foliage, I'm just going to kind of tuck in underneath, and I'm going to use liquid adhesive for that. Or will I use a glue dot? No, I'll use a glue dot for speed, I think. So let me just add glue dots, and I'm going to tuck them in so that the glue dot is hidden, or as much as possible is hidden. So I'll have one there. We will have one the wrong way up, as in, oh, we've got light again. Hurrah! You see, I said we should just keep going. So I'll have one in here. Although some of my lights haven't come back on. They obviously go off and stay off. We're back on! Hooray! As I say, the joys of living in the country. So that's fine. Then I'll pop this one in here, I think. And just curl that round. We've been told by the power supplier that we have to complain every time we have a power cut, so that they can actually take our concerns seriously. I mean, really, we have to complain that we've had a power cut. You would think we didn't have to complain, but it was just, we shouldn't have power cuts. We are living in the 21st century. But there we go. There are worse things that could be happening, and I'm just going to live with that. Right, okay. I could now, fingers crossed, do my heat embossing, couldn't I? Whee! Let's live dangerously. Okay, so I've got my stamp, which is wishing you all things fabulous. So ink that up and stamp onto my piece of Rococo Rose. Almost straight. White embossing powder. So yes, did I say this was our second or our third power cut this in the last 2 days? A month ago we had 9 in 4 days. So, you know, we've got a few to go still. But yes, so once I finish this video, I will be phoning up to complain again. So, here we go. And there we are. One beautifully heat embossed piece that we don't actually need. I will show you what I then did with it, however. Let me just put the lid on my powder because I've already had my embossing powder fly across the room once today. So let me grab my trimmer. I want this to be 1/2 inch wide, and my mini trimmer, I know that is 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch wide is there. And then I've used the new, as in they're in the autumn winter catalogue, the new banner pick a punch, or banners I think it is, pick a punch. And you've got a pointy end and a flag end, so you've got both options. Obviously I've gone with the pointy end. That is technical, you understand, pointy end. I'm going to use, let's see, I think I'll use Seal Plus, but I'm going to add that once I've made the card up. So I've got a piece of thick Whisper White, which I've scored in the middle, and just fold, grab my bone folder, and I'm going to add liquid adhesive to the back of this, but I'm going to pay particular attention around there. That's too much. So that I am reasonably confident that the ribbon will be trapped. Quick scribble, and I'll add a little bit onto the ribbon as well. And then with the fold to my left, I will just pop that down. And as ever, I like to press from the back. And now I'm going to take my word banner, my sentiment, that's what I was trying to say, add some adhesive, and this is the strong, this is the Seal Plus, and then pop this. I've got Seal Plus just tucking out there. I'll tuck that back in, that's better. And then this I'm going to add on top of the ribbon. Could probably have trimmed that down a wee bit more. Am I going to be brave and do it by hand? Let me grab my large scissors, my very old, very dirty, as in the handles are dirty, large scissors, and be brave. Oh, that was reasonably even. So this is now going to be narrower than 1/2 inch. But what it does mean is that we can then see the scallop poking out, and then I can trim from the back. I can just trim that last bit off like that, and we have our finished Rococo Rose and Flirty Flamingo card. So I hope you enjoyed that. I do love this stamp set. I love the fact that you can build up all this gorgeous layering, and we've got the dies to go with it. So a really great little bundle from the annual catalogue. So it's all things fabulous with the, what do we call them, Fabulous Florals dies, which includes this lovely lace piece, and we've got 2 dies for the small little bits, so you've got 2 of each, and 2 for this as well, I think. Let me check. So you've got those 2 and those 2, which are for the same stamp, and yes, 2 of the really small, this one, and 2 of the long. So yeah, you can do multiple die cut at the same time. And of course, our cut and emboss machine is now available for demos to pre-order, or if you want to save money, put it in your, well, get it a month earlier than you would otherwise as a customer, but if you buy one of the starter kits for £99, you put the £112 cut and emboss machine in, and you've still got £28 left to spend. 28? 18 £18 left to spend, because you can put £130 into your starter kit and get free postage, so you don't even have to add the £4.95 on. Much the best way of getting it. You get it early, you get it for less money, and then you get a 20% discount until at least the end of January next year. Fantastic. Anyway, after all my excitement, hopefully by the time I'm filming this, I have got, oh sorry, by the time you're seeing this, I've got it. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I know it's shipped, I just don't know when it's due to arrive. Fingers crossed. Anyway, after that, if you've enjoyed that, please give it a thumbs up. I'm really sorry about the lighting, not much I could do about that. If you don't already subscribe, please hit the subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner, and if you want to be notified when I post a video, you want to hit the notification bell as well, otherwise you won't be notified. So what else? Oh yes, the link to the blog post is below, which will have the dimensions. Questions or comments, either pop those below the description bar or put a comment over on my website. Either way, I will be delighted to hear from you and will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope to see you tomorrow morning for Simply Stamping Saturday, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks a lot for watching.